Good morning, everyone. So today we're going to be making two products that you can make with milk. So we're going to make ice cream and we are going to make butter. So let's get started. So first we're going to make the ice cream. So we're going to put half a cup of half and half cream into our baggie. Next we're going to add a tablespoon of sugar. Let's see if I can put that here. And put it into the bag. We're going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla to make it taste good. That was a little bit more than a 1/4, but that's okay. I like vanilla. All right, so we're going to zip this up. So the next thing we're going to do with this mixture is we're going to take half a cup of kosher salt, which is a thicker grind of salt that you would use in cooking. And I'm going to dump it into this bag. And then I'm going to put our mixture into the bag. So you might be wondering why I'm adding salt to the ice. So with us living in Canada, you might have noticed trucks spreading salt and sand on the streets during the winter time. So this helps prevent roads from getting too slippery after it snows. So the salt lowers the temperature at which water freezes. So with the salt, ice will melt when the temperature is below the normal freezing point of water. And you might notice I'm wearing some gloves, some oven mitts. It's because the bag's really cold. It's gotten a lot colder since we added that salt. So the temperature that the salt is lowering is called the freezing point. So when a freezing point is lowered, such as adding salt to ice, the process is called freezing point depression. So we're going to mix this around. It takes about 5 minutes in here to make ice cream. So, if you've ever made ice cream with an old-fashioned hand crank machine, you probably packed a mixture of ice and rock salt around the container holding the cream. The ice-salt combination gets colder than pure water ice and can freeze the ingredients in the ice cream machine and in the bags that we're using in this activity, and turning them into ice cream. So let's take a look at how it looks so far. So it's getting a bit thicker. So I'm going to put it back in and zip it up again. Get some of this air out. I really need to put my gloves back on because this bag is super cold. So a fun thing that you can do at home is try to do one without adding salt to ice and seeing if that makes a difference when you are making ice cream in a bag. So it's a good side-by-side comparison. So you can have one bag with salt and ice and one bag with just ice and then the ice cream mixture. You can see what happens to eat both of them. So let's have a look again. Kind of looks a little bit thicker. So it's definitely gotten harder. I'm going to shake it a little bit more, but I'm actually going to open it up and take the air out of the bag a little bit. All right, let's put it in for one last shake. I think we're done. So let's open it up and have a look. Take it off. All right. Yup, it's definitely ice cream now. I'll scoop it out for you and you can see. So now it is ice cream. So it's frozen and not liquidy anymore. See? I did it upside down just like Dairy Queen in a blizzard. So now we're going to make butter, and butter's really easy to make. It takes 2 ingredients. It takes a jar to shake in, and then I also bought 35% milk fat whipping cream. So we put half a cup of that, and I've let it sit out for a bit to warm up, because what I've read, you have to shake it a lot less if the temperature is at room temperature than if it's from cold. So now we're gonna pour it in, and we're going to shake this. So this will be a fun one to do at home. It's very easy and something you can do all by yourself. So now I'm just gonna shake it. So right now I can hear it sloshing around. And then as I'm shaking it, I'm going to tell you a little bit about butter. So butter is a dairy product made by churning or shaking fresh cream to separate the butter fat from the buttermilk. Most frequently made from cow's milk, butter can also be made from the milk of other mammals, including sheep, goats, buffalo, and yaks. I chose cow milk for this one. Heavy cream, like in the jar, is an emulsion. So an emulsion exists when tiny droplets of one kind of liquid are floating around in another type of liquid that does not like to mix with the first. So in heavy cream, tiny globules of fat are suspended in mostly water. So the globules are surrounded by membranes of something called phospholipids, which are fatty acid emulsifiers and proteins. So these prevent the globules from clumping together. So churning or shaking the cream forces the fat globules to slam into one another. If they hit each other with enough force, they will stick together. The fat collection becomes bigger and bigger with each extra globule. So that's what happens, is the fat slams together and it gets thicker and it starts to make butter. But first, it's going to make whipped cream, and we're going to have a look in here because it's starting to not shake as much. Like, I don't hear it shaking around as much. So let's have a peek at what's happening here. It's definitely gotten thicker. I don't know if you can see, but it's gotten thicker. So we're going to keep shaking. After enough churning or shaking, the fat globules form a chunk of butter. What remains is a watery liquid with small butter grains floating in it. This is called buttermilk. It is drained off and saved for other purposes. The butter is pressed and kneaded into a solid mass to remove any remaining pockets of buttermilk or water. It's now gotten really thick. It's like whipped cream. I will get a spoon and I'll show you. So it's now whipped cream. So that means we have to keep shaking. I'm going to taste it. All right, so let's keep shaking it. Fresh milk from the cow has both cream and milk mixed together. The cream is less dense than the milk, so the cream rises to the top of the container where it can be skimmed off. Before modern factory butter making, cream was usually collected from several milkings and was several days old and somewhat fermented by the time it was made into butter. Oh, it's starting to clump together. Let's shake it some more. So butter made from a fermented cream is known as a cultured butter. During fermentation, the cream sours as bacteria converts milk sugars into lactic acid. Fermentation produces additional aroma compounds which make a fuller flavored, more buttery tasting product. Today, cultured butter is usually made from pasteurized cream, whose fermentation is produced by the introduction of Lactococcus and Leuconostoc bacteria. The milk left behind after the cream is skimmed off is called fat-free milk. The whole milk we buy in the grocery store is homogenized to keep the milk and cream mixed together. I think we've done it. Most dairy products are pasteurized to kill harmful bacteria and other microbes. Butter made from pasteurized fresh cream is called sweet cream butter. Butter from fresh or cultured unpasteurized cream is called raw cream butter. While butter made from pasteurized cream may keep for several months, raw cream butter has a shelf life of roughly 10 days. All right, let's shake it a little more just so you can see that it's a nice lump. So we're almost done our shaking. So another interesting fact about butter is it's an ancient prepared food, having been made by people for at least 4,000 years. Some of the earliest known recipes for making butter call for the use of a container made from animal skin. The skin would be sewn together tightly, leaving a small opening through which to add fatty milk or cream. The vessel would then be suspended, such as from wooden poles, and swung until butter formed. For the last century, however, most butter have been produced in factories. So, we have definitely a separation. So I'm going to pour the buttermilk out. So this is the buttermilk. And then we have our butter. We've done it. You see it? That's a big clump of butter. So we have our buttermilk and our butter. Thank you so much for watching the experiment. I'm just going to show you the butter one last time. I know it was a lot of shaking, but it's something that you can do easily at home with just a jar and some whipping cream. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!